I'm Debbie Lincoln, back to read some stories to you today, boys and girls. And the first one I have to read is about a little boy who doesn't want to take a bath. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was little, the last thing in the world I wanted to do was to take a bath. So this little boy has 101 reasons why he doesn't want to take a bath. And this story is written by Stacy McAnulty and illustrated by Joy Ang. 101 reasons why I'm not taking a bath. Bath time? No way. Give you a reason? I'll give you 101 reasons. I'm not dirty. I'm allergic to water, to soap, to shampoo, to tile floors. My sensitive skin needs blue soap, and you keep buying green soap. Bubbles could get in my nose, my mouth, my eyes, my brain. Baths are too wet. And water makes my fingers wrinkly, and my toes, and my butt. At least I think it does. And I'm not as dirty as Sam, who lost when we played mud tag, or Joe, who came in last when we rolled down Dandelion Hill, or Lee, who got stuck in the slime tunnel during the obstacle course. And none of my friends have to take baths. I'll clean myself like the cat. The dog only takes a bath like twice a year. I think I could fit in this bird bath. I'll rinse off in that puddle. You should clean the car instead. I don't have bird poop on me. The sprinkler would be faster. I don't smell as bad as this, or this, or this, or this. Aliens might attack while I'm in the bath, or there might be a meteor shower, or the sun might burn out, or a comet might crash into our neighborhood, or the moon might fall out of orbit. Besides, I can't find my arm floaties, and I need my arm floaties, and goggles, and a scuba tank, and a surfboard, and a canoe. What? Fine. I just need my bike. I can't take a bath on an empty stomach. I need a cupcake, or a cookie, or a lollipop. Just one lick of a lollipop? Well, then can I have a carrot stick? I need to wait 30 minutes after eating before I can get in the water. I mean 30 hours. I'll only take a bath in the sink or in the dishwasher. Look, I have a self-cleaning button like the oven. I took a bath yesterday. Then it was the day before. Then it was the day before the day before. I'll take a bath tomorrow. I'll take 3, 5, 10. That's my final offer. I'm not dirty. That's a freckle. And so is that. And so is that. And there's a whole town of freckles. Hey, look, a clean spot. I'll just clean up with hand sanitizer and air freshener. I haven't finished my puzzle, or my clay vase in the shape of a volcano, or my finger paint portrait of the family, or my model of the White House made of macaroni, or my drawing of our house at night. A bath won't help. This is permanent marker. Most household accidents happen in the bathroom. Scientific fact. Baths kill trees. Scientific fact. A kid in Texas turned into a prune after taking a bath. Scientific fact. I'm not dirty. This floor is dirty. And this chimney and this coffee table. And every time I turn around, I find something dirtier than me. I don't understand why you want me to take a bath. It's not your birthday. And we're not going to be on TV, are we? The president isn't coming over. I'll take a bath before I get married, and I'm never getting married. Please don't make me go in there. Monsters live in the drain. Slimy, hairy monsters. The faucet gives me nightmares about waterfalls. I've seen an invisible crocodile in the tub. I've heard an invisible crocodile in the tub. And ghosts haunt the soap dish. And dragons live behind the towel rack. Did you hear that? I think it was lightning. All the towels are dirty. And the dog ate the washcloths. My rubber iguanodon used all the shampoo to make his lagoon. The soap ran away to Antarctica. I'll be your best friend. I'll give you my dessert forever. I'll clean your room. No, not my room. That's a mess. I said your room. Okay. Name your price. And reason number 101, I'm not dirty. What do you mean I already used that one? And what do you mean that's only 88? You've actually been counting? I don't want to. 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 Time to get out? I'm not getting out. And I'll give you 102 reasons why. The end. So I guess when he got in the bathtub, it wasn't so bad after all. So the second story is called Stop That Pickle. And it's by Peter Armour and illustrated by Andrew Shachat. Now we all know that food can't walk and food can't talk, but in this story, they can. Stop that pickle. It was lunchtime when Mrs. Elmira Deeds waddled into Mr. Adolph's deli. I would like a pickle, please, she said. Why, certainly, Mr. Adolph said, wiping his hands. He unscrewed the lid on the giant pickle jar and looked inside. There was only one fat pickle left floating in the brine. Mr. Adolph tried to spear the pickle with a long fork, but each time he did, the pickle swam to the other side of the jar. The pickle did not want to be eaten. Mr. Adolph was rather embarrassed by this turn of events, and he began to dig around in a drawer for some tongs. As he was doing this, the pickle climbed out of the jar on his little green legs, darted across the counter, and ran out of the door. Eek! Said Mrs. Elvira Deeds. No one had ever seen a pickle move quite so fast. Stop that pickle, shouted Mr. Adolph, giving chase. Down the street ran the pickle. Mr. Adolf quickly pooped out and had to sit down on the curb. Reclining on a nearby plate, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich heard the alarm and leapt up. Everyone knows that a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is not the fastest sandwich in the world, but it does have great endurance. The sandwich chugged after the pickle. "Stop that pickle!" it shouted. As the pickle and the peanut butter and jelly sandwich passed a bake shop, a fat braided pretzel climbed down from the counter and stumbled into the street. It ran a few steps behind the peanut butter sandwich, scattering sesame seeds as it went. "Stop that pickle!" cried the pretzel. Enjoying the sun on a nearby tree, a lovely green pippin apple heard the pretzel's cry and shook itself loose to join the chase. It rolled down every hill it could. A crowd of toasted almonds, 17 of them, came skittering down the street. Where they came from is anybody's guess. "Stop that pickle!" they peeped with their little almond voices. A scurrying crowd of raisins and a cake donut came right behind. The last to join the parade were a cool bottle of grape juice and an elegant vanilla ice cream cone sprinkled with chocolate. They all had just one thing to say: "Stop that pickle!" But the pickle was too fast for them all. He had a great time zigging and zagging and thumbing his green pickle nose at his pursuers. Sometimes he would stop and read a newspaper to give them a chance to catch up. They were the slowest food he had ever seen. On and on the chase went. It seemed that it would never end when, oof! Rounding a corner, the pickle collided with a young boy. Stunned, the pickle lay there. The collision had knocked the wind out of him. Quickly, all of his pursuers gathered around. "You've caught the pickle!" they all cried to the boy. "What should I do with him?" he asked. "Why, eat him, of course!" they shouted. They were all a bit beside themselves. "He's just a silly pickle." Now, it just so happened that the boy had been playing hard all morning long and somehow had misplaced his lunchbox. He was terribly hungry. He looked at the pickle, who immediately began to cry big, briny tears. The boy had a better idea. He ate the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the fat braided pretzel, the lovely green pippin apple, the 17 toasted almonds, the handful of raisins, the cake donut, and drank the bottle of grape juice. Finally, he polished off the ice cream cone. The only thing left was the pickle. The boy looked at the pickle and shook his head. Who ever heard of eating a pickle after ice cream? "Stop that pickle!" The end. And now, for my last story. I bet you all liked stories about dinosaurs when you were little, but I bet you never knew why dinosaurs stopped being around. They don't exist anymore. They became extinct. Well, guess what? This book is going to tell you why there are no more dinosaurs. It's written by Claire Freeman and Ben Court, and it's called Dinosaurs Love Underpants. Dinosaurs were all wiped out a long way back in history. No one knows quite how or why. Now this book solves the mystery. It all began when cavemen felt embarrassed in the nude. So someone dreamed up underpants to stop them from looking crude. The dinosaurs roamed everywhere, all teeth and huge long necks. But scariest and meanest was Tyrannosaurus Rex. When T-Rex saw man's undies, he roared with deafening rants. "I don't want to eat you up. I want your underpants." T-Rex stole a furry pair, but his briefs quickly ripped. He couldn't get them past his feet. Oh, whoops, watch out, he tripped. Triceratops was happy, wearing undies on every horn, till Styracosaurus snatched them, and they ended up all torn. The pants from woolly mammoth coats made Stegosaurus itchy. Diplodocus was really mad. His briefs were way too pinchy. "We're running low on underpants," the cavemen quaked in shock. "These dinos are undies crazy. They've completely run amok." Soon undies were flying everywhere, all torn by tooth and claw. The dinosaurs were fighting in a great briefs tug of war. The mighty underpants war raged all night. Thump, pow, bash, thwack, clout. The fighting got so crazy, all the dinos were wiped out. The next day, out the cavemen crept and cheered at what they saw. "Hooray! Our biggest enemy is now, at last, no more." So, when you put your undies on, always treat them with great care. Don't forget, briefs saved mankind. They're not just underwear. The end. I hope you've enjoyed these stories. Have a great day. Bye.
Hi kids, Uncle Pete's back to read to you again on Storytime, coming to you from the Passio School. And today I thought I'd read most of the first stories you kids probably ever heard. They were nursery rhymes, or sometimes called Mother Goose stories. They are very old rhymes that have been passed on by parents to children for hundreds of years. They're entertaining, they can be sung or danced to, and to play games with. When I was a little boy, there was a piano in my bedroom. Every night my mother would play and sing me to sleep from her nursery rhyme songbook. This beautiful book has a large collection of Mother Goose rhymes. I'll read you many of my special favorites and see how many you know. If you do, say them along with me, okay? This edition was illustrated by Gina Bayek, and it was written by people over the last hundreds of years. Ba ba black sheep. Ba ba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. 1 for my master, and 1 for my dame, and 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. And you know what's interesting about that poem? People prized black sheep in the old days because they didn't have to dye their wool. And now a black sheep of a family is sort of an outcast, but black sheep used to be quite valuable. Hickory dickory dock. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1 and down he run. Hickory dickory dock. Doesn't make much sense, but it's kind of funny. Georgie Porgy. Georgie Porgy, puddin' and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. One of the earliest poems about bullying, I guess. Where has my little dog gone? Oh, where has my little dog gone? Oh, where can he be? With his ears cut short and his tail cut long, oh, where can he be? Sing a song of sixpence. Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was opened, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before the king? I guess in the old days, they actually used to put live birds in pies and have them fly out of the pie just as a joke when they're having big fancy meals. That's where that one comes from. This is the most famous nursery rhyme of all time. And you can see why, because every little child, when he first looks up at the sky, wonders what those little twinkles are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. More people know that nursery rhyme than any other. This is a cute one. Diddle, diddle, dumpling. Diddle, diddle, dumpling, my son John went to bed with his breeches on. One shoe on and one shoe off. Diddle, diddle, dumpling, my son John. What do you think that means? Hey, diddle, diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with a spoon. It was one of the first ones I remember. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again, because Humpty Dumpty was an egg and he smushed. This was a lullaby used by early Americans. Hushabye. Hushabye, baby, on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, bough, cradle, and all. I understand from doing a little research that early American people would put their kids up in little cradles in trees, so as the wind blew, it would rock them to sleep. But apparently once in a while, it didn't work out that well. Here's one you all know, Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Then up Jack got and off did trot as fast as he could caper to old Dame Dob, who patched his knob with vinegar and brown paper. The only thing about this poem that always bothered me was that water and after don't rhyme. So they must have pronounced them differently once. Little Jack Horner. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating his Christmas pie. He put in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." Little Boy Blue. Little Boy Blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where's the little boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. And that was sort of a little rhyme about paying attention to your job, I guess. And this next one was one of my favorites as a kid because it was kind of scary. Three Blind Mice. Three blind mice, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as three blind mice? I always wondered how the blind mice could see how to run up the clock, but it's just a poem. The Mulberry Bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. This is the way we wash our hands. Wash our hands, wash our hands. This is the way we wash our hands on a cold and frosty morning. There are many, many more verses, sort of sing-songy things to get kids to do their chores. That's what that was probably for. Pussycat and the Queen. Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I've been to London to look at the Queen. Although probably in England they would say, where have you been? I've been to London to look at the Queen. Pussycat, pussycat, what did you there? I frightened a little mouse under the chair. Mice take beatings in these stories. Little Bo Peep. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and can't tell where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home and bring their tails behind them. Bo Peep was like peekaboo, and they would play games with each other, go peep, Bo Peep, and that's the origin of that story. Old King Cole. Old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers three. And every fiddler, he had a fine fiddle, and a very fine fiddle had he. Tweedledee, tweet, tweet, tweedledee, tweedledee went the fiddlers. Oh, there's none so rare as can compare with King Cole and his fiddlers three. Little Miss Muffet. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating of curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. This is one that often is played as a little hand clapping game. Pat a cake. Pat a cake, baker's man. So do I master as fast as I can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with a T and put in the oven for Tommy and me. And I looked some history of that one up, and it used to be the town would have a common bakery. People would have ovens in their homes, and so they would take their cakes to be cooked in the town oven, and they would mark an initial on it so that they would get their own cake back when it was cooked. So it could be marked, and I do it, I'd mark it with P instead of T, so T wouldn't get it. I suppose I have to do this one. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. Well, I promise I will never put Debbie in a pumpkin shell. Now the next one can be played, sung as a round. A round is where two people sing different lines of a song. And you can do this up to 8 people, or 7 or 8 people singing along at the same time, and we'll try to do it. Let's go, row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. It's a nice thought. Now this is the way it sounds when it's sung. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And now, as a round. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Try it at home. That's fun to do. Here's another one that you play with a baby or a small child, and it's a counting nursery rhyme. It's called This Little Pig. This little pig went to market. This little pig stayed at home. This little pig had roast beef. This little pig had none. And this little pig cried, wee, 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 I can't find my way home. You see there's 5 of them? So if there's a baby and you're playing with it, you take one toe and you go, this little pig went to market, this little pig stayed home. It's a counting game. The child learns to count to 5, and every single toe has a specific duty to perform, And so they learn to differentiate between things and learn to count, as well as entertaining them and tickling their toes. They're learning something from it. So it's early education, this little pig. This is one you might be familiar with because this poem, this verse, actually took place near here originally. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. He followed her to school one day, which was against the rules. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. And so the teacher turned him out, but still he lingered near and waited patiently about till Mary did appear. What makes the lamb love Mary so, the eager children cry? Why, Mary loves the lamb, you know, the teacher did reply. That actually happened to a girl named Mary Sawyer down in Sterling, Mass. In the early 19th century. And if you've ever been to Sterling on the town common, there is a statue of a lamb. And that supposedly this rhyme is based on something that actually did happen to her. And the schoolhouse is now over in Sudbury at the Wayside Inn. There's some rhymes too that are tongue twisters, like seashells by the seashore. I'm going to try to do one, but I don't know if I'll make it. Called Peter Piper. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Made it. In the old days, when they were selling things, merchants would walk around the streets and make calls to people to come and buy their wares. And here's one you might have heard of called hot cross buns. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. If you have no daughters, then give them to your sons. But if you have none of these little elves, then you'll have to eat them all yourselves. This was an Easter bun, like a little pie full of raisins and croissants and stuff inside the bun. And it had a white cross of frosting on the top. And at Easter time, the merchants would go and cry out to come and buy the wares. And it's became so familiar that it's become a nursery rhyme. Okay. Now, this is the last one, and it's called Ring Around the Rosie. Now, a lot of these rhymes are also children's games. It goes, ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Now, the way you can play this, why don't you get up now, hold hands with some of your friends, and dance around in a circle until we get to the last part. And it goes like this. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Okay? Let's all sing along with me now. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. And now I'm going to play it and you sing it yourselves. Did y'all fall down? Was that fun? Kids, if you got younger brothers and sisters, get a hold of some nursery rhymes and you teach these poems to them, these rhymes to them, and carry on this tradition that's been going on starting way back in England for hundreds of years. Most of these poems are known by so many people, and it just is a tradition that's folklore, that is oral tradition that's passed on from generation to generation. So you pass it on to younger brothers and sisters. And Uncle Pete will see you again in a few months, again at Storytime. Have a good night.